Did you know that the time from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., that time block is one of the most crucial moments in a day that a mother could have? And it is so important to truly harness that time frame with good intentions, with good activities that will bring your family closer together. If you're a spiritual mama, but you work all day and you get home and you're exhausted, and the last thing you want to do is prep for dinner and force everybody to sit at the table, read a book, force them to sit down without screens, you're just exhausted from the day in the office. That to each their own, eat what you want, eat where you want, let me just veg on the couch with a Subway sandwich and watch Netflix. I get it. But you know what happens to us women? When we get in bed and we settle in for the night, our brain starts turning. You should have read a book to your kids. You should have tucked them in and told them a story. You should have all sat down at the dinner table together. Those moments of nurturing and being unified with your family, being close, humanizing with them. You failed. You missed that opportunity. They get way too much screen time. They're rotting away their brains. Look at this statistic and that statistic. You're not helping. You're a horrible mom. It happens to me, it happens to the best of us. But for those of us that are a little bit spiritual, but we're also corporate baddies that bust our ass and want to provide for our family, but are also exhausted in the end of the day, here's some tips that I do. Things that I do to really take advantage of those crucial hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. If I'm tired, this is how I'll cut corner. We will do takeout, we will do DoorDash, we will do something quick and easy, but we never budge on the decision to sit at the table together as a family. That is a must in our household. Now, there's going to be times where I don't want to cook, and that's fine. I will cut corners in that regard. That doesn't matter what you feed them. That honestly doesn't matter. Being the health nut, making sure they get enough vegetables, fuck that. Take it easy. Get whatever. Get junk food. Get McDonald's. But at least sit together as a family and ask them how their day was. That is something so simple that shouldn't change. And you're rarely going to get them fighting against you. They rarely will say, no, Mom, I don't want to do that. If you give them McDonald's and all they have to do is sit at the table and chit-chat about their day and engage with you and their brothers and sisters and parents, 90% of the time you aren't going to get no one button against that. I grew up with a mother who loved to read. She would always require us to sit down and read in the evenings or listen to audio, stories, radio, etc., like we were back in the 40s. But she was just old school like that. And if I am so tired and I don't want to fight them and force them to sit down and read a book with me, as much as I prefer that, I'm going to be realistic here. If you're having kids that are going to fight you and they want their screen time and you just want to relax, I allow it. I allow that moment of just vegging. And I don't beat myself up because I make sure that evening when they dock their devices and they go up to bed, I make sure to tuck each one of them in, tell them a brief story, say a prayer, talk about anything that they might be feeling that's on their heart. That is the moment I take advantage of, no matter what. There is not a night, and sometimes there is. I make it short and sweet, which is totally fine. But each kid deserves to have their mother or dad tuck them in for the night. I never miss that opportunity. Now, opportunities of reading books all night instead of screen time, I fail in that regard. But I don't feel guilty for doing that as long as I have taken that moment at the very end of their day to tuck them in individually, to show them their personal value, especially when you have more than one kid. You'll eventually get, if you're not careful, kids feeling neglected, kids feeling like you're giving attention to the newborn more so than their 5-year-old self. And so you have to be intentional, especially if you're a highly empathetic spiritual woman. You take that very serious. And so making sure you give each child time with you, tucking them in, saying a prayer, is vitally important, regardless if they just spent 3 hours on their iPad. You had that break, you needed that break. But now is your moment to spend with each one of them. Intention, with divine purpose, passion, whatever you want to intertwine with it. If it's a full moon, I'll do some full moon rituals with the kids. I'll do new moon rituals. I incorporate my beliefs with my children and get them involved. But I've shared that in other videos. This video is focused on truly harnessing your energy during that crucial 4 to 7 p.m. And 7 p.m. being bedtime for the majority of my kids until they're teenagers. Then I extend it to 9. But 7 p.m. has always been the cutoff to kids under the age of 10 in my house. Never anything later, because now I have a spouse that needs some love. I'm the corporate baddie who works all day. And so when I come home, my stay-at-home husband wants to feel loved. He wants to feel valued. He wants that adulting that he never got during the day, hanging around kids all day and being alone in a house. I know that that's crucial for him. And some days I don't want to. Some days him and I just want to veg on the couch and doom scroll. But when I feel the vibe, and if you're intuitive with the divine, you'll know when your spouse needs some extra love. And so I will be in tune with the energies and feelings of my spouse really needs this tonight, or really needs more engagement. He needs to just vent, and I'm going to be a listening ear. But him and I both know that the cutoff is 9 p.m. when I get my me time that I desperately need to recuperate from my day and be recharged and ready for the executive world the next day. That's just some tips I wanted to share with you. But remember that 4 to 7 p.m. is so crucial to women with families or men with families. So try to stay aligned. Don't beat yourself up. Meet halfway. Cut corners where you know you can cut corners. But the key thing through all of this is that your family and yourself are feeling loved. You are loving on your family in some way or another. You got this.